Here's a particularly bad E46 M3 subframe failure, probably the worst one we've seen, and possibly the worst one documented. Being known world over for our subframe repairs, we do get brought all sorts of severely damaged models for work, and this one was brought to us recently for a knocking noise at the rear, and the customer wanted the subframe repair and reinforcement process carried out. And once we inspected it, we could obviously clearly see that it's far beyond repair, extremely broken up and damaged. And this is the first time we've had chance to take the subframe down. Subsequently, we bought the car off the customer for spares and repairs for obvious reasons, as he no longer wanted to continue with this. It was an unviable repair. And it's the first time since then we've had chance to take the subframe off and actually inspect it and see how shockingly bad this one has failed. And this is really rare and extreme. Most of the cars that we carry out repair and reinforcement processes on just have the typical hairline crack here on the corner, sort of the folded area. And if you're looking from behind the car, looking forward, this is where you'll see in our video they crack just about here, and then they travel up, and you'll be looking up here where the diff is up by my hand, and then the cracks are normally up around here, and then sometimes they'll travel. I mean, our plate system is very large. It's the largest one on the market that contains a decent amount of problems. However, if we had one that was cracked up this far or outside of our plate area, we wouldn't carry out that repair. And we do have to turn some cars and some customers away, obviously this one, but even ones with not so obvious damage to this. But it's not every day you see one like this and this extreme. And this is why we also do stitch welding down here. We were the first to work this out and add this to our repair procedure, and possibly one of the only companies out there that do. And we've got a decent amount of cracking on the right rear as well. Sometimes you do get a hairline in there where the floor is literally just trying to fold like this. This being a pressed shape is very strong, so that stays still. And this piece is the one that's actually loading and unloading. But then there's cracking around the internal chassis leg there, around the spring perch area, which is quite extreme. So that floor, or the rear axle carrier panel, is completely coming off the car. The front left has got some cracking, not much though. The right front is terrible. That one, that's been like that for a while, for the sheer corrosion has set in, and the fact that there's a section of floor missing here. And I don't know how much you're going to be able to see on this video, but it's completely loose, that mount. The inner welds in the top section underneath the rear seat cavity have broken as well. They must have, because that one's flexing hugely. And then probably the most interesting bit out of this whole thing is we've got the exhaust on. Normally we take the exhaust system off completely, and we wouldn't ever bend our customer's heat shield like this, but like I said, because it's one of our cars we've purchased for spares or repairs, we've taken it off in sections and pieces for various reasons. But technically the only thing helping keep this whole rear axle carrier panel together is the exhaust here, because that is how we found it. As soon as we removed the subframe, it was flapping like that and landing on the exhaust down here. And for that reason, that's why it's probably the worst one we've ever seen. And I can promise you, we haven't tugged or pulled that in any way. That's exactly how we found it. Once we unbolted the subframe, the floor actually came down with the subframe, or the diff carrier itself. So yeah, that is quite nasty.